Hi, this is Paul from globaltradingsoftware.com. I've had a question on the Guardian Zone, so I thought I'd just make a video, make it easier. So it's about the Show Swings tab, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So first of all, this is a forex pair. I haven't made a video on forex pair for a while, so GBP US dollar on the 5 minute. We can see the Guardian zones at the moment. The only box checked is the 5 minute, and we can see here that it's respecting this zone here on the 5 minute, and there's a confluence of 5 minute zones down on the bottom here. So if I just put those show swings on here, we can see there's lots more swings than just in these particular areas. There's a couple up the top here which is outside of here, and one up the top there. So these swings are specific to this time frame, the native time frame, which is on the 5 minute. Now if I just then toggle the previous zones, this is what's really interesting. So let's go to this previous zone which stopped. So we can see here this swing point and this swing point defined the size of that zone, and then we had two others within that zone. But then we had another swing point close to the zone, but it wasn't within there, so it stopped printing the zone. Then we had other swing points here, here, and here, which actually adjusted that previous zone to that point there and started printing that. But then that was broken, so that was taken off. Now the logic is quite complex and proprietary for where those swing points actually occur, and it's one of the calculations along with institutional decision points that gives us those zones. So they're just a guide. This is why they're not default, but it helps you understand where those previous zones were. So if I uncheck the previous zones, you see they've gone now. If I check them again, then you can understand where they were with those pivots. But also then when we start to build those higher time frames, so if I just take off the previous zones a second, we can see now that we've got a lot of convergence between the 15 and that 5 minute, and some of these 5 minute swings are actually bouncing off within that 15 minute zone. If I put the 30 minute zone on, we can see there's massive confluence, so huge support underneath there, and we can see these 5 minute swing points are bouncing off here. Put the 60 minute on, we can see that these 5 minute swing points are actually testing the 60 minute zone, which is very important to understand, because as we move into the future and for example the price action comes back into this confluence of zone, which is the 60, the 15 and 30 down before, and we print a swing point here, there's a good chance it's going to bounce off there and go high. Conversely, if we break this new 5 minute zone here and the price action comes into this 60 minute, and we get another swing point at this point and it starts to move back down again, obviously depending on the signal strategy that we're using, we can see that's really good resistance and it's coming back down again. So it's helping you understand that we've got a swing point on this 5 minute chart, and it's happened within this 6 minute zone. For example, we start to come back down and we get a signal from whichever strategy we're using. We've got fresh air, we can trade that short. Okay, when this if we just zoom in a little bit here, you can see in this zone here, if I just take off the 60, the 30, we can see here we've got a swing point at this point here. So again, if we got a long signal on the strategy we're using, whether it's the VWAP, Predator, the xBrat, algo, the roller coaster, or whatever it is, we can see that this swing point's strong. It's happened within the confluence of our multiple time frame zones, which are automatic. We got a long signal, we got a lot of fresh air, we're going to trade all the way up to that point there. Then we get a signal, a swing point at the sort of lower edge of our 5 minute zone. If we get a short signal here from this swing point, we can then go short. And then we're just, keeping that on your chart will look for that, for those swing points that happen within those multiple time frame zones, and allows you then to trade that specific sort of move from that swing point in that zone. So let's just pause the video there a second. Okay, so what I've done, I just put two of our indicators on the roller coaster, which are this short, for example, this short signal is this red arrow here. If we zoom in, that's the entry, that's the stop, that's the trailing stop, and then the stop taken out for profit. And then the VWAP predator are these buy and sell signals. So they're different market conditions, so different strategies. But I've put them both on there so we can talk about those swings, those swing points that we were showing on these multiple zones. So first of all, remember, at the moment I've just got the 5 and the 15 on, because when I had the 30 and the 60, you couldn't really see that little swing there. But I just want to clear it up a little bit. Hang on a second. Okay, so just removing those. So removing those again. So let's talk about what happens when we see the swing hit this 15-minute zone. Okay, we don't take this short. Again, the guardian zones are there to protect you. We don't take this short here on the roller coaster because we're going into support. Okay, this is quite late on the day, but then we get this swing point here that tests the 15-minute zone. Actually, it's the 15, the 30, and the 60. Very strong. We get a buy signal on the VWAP predator, so we go long. Okay, because we've got lots of fresh air to that next zone, which is the 5-minute zone. We get a buy signal just before that zone. Again, we are basically, the rules are we don't go long into resistance, so we don't take that buy signal. The guardian zones are there to protect you. We see the swing point here actually bounce off the lower end of that resistance zone from the 5-minute. Then we get a roller coaster, different type of strategy again, gets us in a little early. We get the short signal here, there's the stop loss, lots of fresh air down to this support. We take the short roller coaster. So great combination of strategies there. Got the buy signal, took the long. We get the swing point highlighted with that little blue circle there. We get a sell signal on the roller coaster, we go short. This is the trailing stop, we take the profit. We get buy signals in the middle of that trade. Again, overriding, we're in a trade. We can add with that sell signal. We definitely don't take the buy signal here because we're already in that short. But the main thing for me is here, that sell, even if you're adding the risk reward, there's not a lot of fresh air down to there. So just take that roller coaster, combine those together. Now, we didn't quite come and test this support, so there was no swing point in there. You see the swing hasn't been put on that because that's not one that doesn't meet our criteria. We've got a conflict of signals here with the xBrat algo saying going long. We've got a sell signal here for the VWAP predator, but we're not going to take the sell signal. Why? Because we don't short into support. We've got a pretty good long signal here. The risk reward is only 1-to-1 to that resistance zone, so I probably wouldn't take that either. It's about having that fresh air, understanding where those support and resistance zones are. And the point of this video was actually to show those previous those swing points. Not every single pivot is a swing point with our logic, but when you get those swing points happen in those zones, they're very strong. Look for the follow-up, look for the signal from one of the strategies that we employ. Again, what I showed you here was two different strategies purely because market conditions change. So certain strategies work in certain market conditions. No matter what strategy you're using, as long as you've got the guardian zones, the guardian zones will keep you out of trouble and show you where the fresh air is. So for example, on the previous day, we've got the short here on the roller coaster. We've got lots of fresh air down to this support. You're going to take the trade. It was a winner because there's a trailing stop, okay? Hopefully that helps. Check out the links below for the guardian zones. I'm going to put in the VWAP predator and the roller coaster, all for NinjaTrader, but they're all available on our main website, globaltradingsoftware.com, for other platforms.